Part 2. Chanting the Sutra to resolve karmic obstructions. Why do we recommend chanting the Sutra of the past vows of Earth Store Bodhisattva? The Sutra of the past vows of Earth Store's Bodhisattva is a sutra about the law of cause and effect. It records the process of birth, aging, illness, and death of all sentient beings, and the method of how to help people change their fate and bring the dying back to life. It can also rescue one's karmic creditors, relatives, and the successive generation of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life and liberate them ultimately. The birth and death of human beings is in a never-ending cycling since beginningless kalpas, during which each individual has to gather his or her own bliss and cultivate his or her own merits and virtues, for these are things impossible to be done by others. On the other hand, the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth Store Bodhisattva describes in detail various cruelties, miseries, and sufferings in the hells to arouse great fear in us, so that we will wish to stop evil and escape from hells speedily. On the other hand, it describes all kinds of supreme and wonderful joys of the heavens to inspire us to strive for illumination and generate our thinking of doing good deeds. So chanting the sutra enables us to understand how to deal with the problem of karmic obstructions and how to cultivate bliss and wisdom to extensively benefit all living beings. Buddhist cultivation should start from eliminating karmic obstructions, repaying karmic debts, and repenting bad karma. Only after this can practitioners cultivate without obstacles. Entanglement by karmic creditors is a kind of retribution that is suffering for both intangible beings and the human beings. Hard luck, unsmooth career, bad terms between husbands and wives, disobedient children, and even various obstacles in cultivation are mostly caused by karmic creditors who have not been rescued and therefore demand repayment. If we fail to rescue our karmic creditors, it would be extremely difficult for us to proceed along the Bodhi path. So we all should chant the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth Store Bodhisattva every day and dedicate the merit of chanting to purify our bad karma, to rescue our own karmic creditors, relatives, and successive generations of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life, to help them attain rebirth in the Pure Land and thus be liberated ultimately. In accordance with the view of Buddhism, one's own mind itself contains 10,000 dharmas. Hell is also one of the dharmas in the mind of all the living beings, and will be triggered once the karma matures. In this sense, hell is the external reflection, external appearance, and external manifestation of our internal evil. So we know that the heaven and hell are both formed and manifested by the matured karma. Isn't our mind just like this? We care only about personal matters, our own bodies and our own needs. All of these make us endlessly busy with secular affairs and have no room in our mind for anyone else. The more self-centered schemes we make, and the pettier such schemes are, the easier we are to incur the scene of the relentless hell described in the Sutra of the Past Vows of the Earth Store Bodhisattva. The hell is uninterrupted since one person fills it in the same way that many people fill it. On the contrary, if we think big, do not take byways, and care more about other sentient beings, and undertake endeavors to benefit all the living beings of all the tree lives and 10 Dharma realms, that mind of ours, which is capable of incurring hells, is the illuminate Dharma body of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas filling all the Dharma realms. The relentless hell is described in the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth-Store Bodhisattva as follows. The hells are all within the great iron ring mountain. The 18 great hells and the 500 subsequent ones each have their own names. There are hundreds of thousands more that also have their own names. We should understand that the Great Iron Ring Mountain actually represents our mind, which is too stubborn to transform. The 18 great hells represent the 18 realms, namely 6 consciousnesses, 6 organs, and 6 fields of senses. We should know that all the appearances of the objective world are no more than the outcome of the interaction of the 18 realms with the mind of sentient beings. When our mind gets dark and evil, it is like the Great Iron Ring Mountain. The 18 realms then become the 18 great hells. Due to the variation of the living being's individual karma, thousands of different hell scenes are further formed. Our own mind can create both goodness and evil. Our own mind can also enjoy happiness as well as sufferings. Think about goodness, and the world will be turned into a heaven. Think about evil, and the world will be turned into a hell. A single thought of goodness from one's self-nature can make evils as many as sands of the Ganges vanish. A single thought of evil from one's self-nature can make good causes accumulated during kalpas extinguish. If we commit evil deeds with our dark and vicious mind of hell, hells will be incurred. On the contrary, we also have Earth-Store Bodhisattva mind, which is illuminant, kind, wise, and compassionate. If we do good deeds with such a mind, heavens will be incurred. This is the reason why the sutra states that one would be saved as soon as he or she chants the name or sees the image of the Earth-Store Bodhisattva. Once we chant the name of the Earth-Store Bodhisattva, our innate Earth-Store Bodhisattva mind comes out. Earth-Store Bodhisattva mind is the power that leads us away from hells to illumination. The spiritual penetrations of Earth-Store Bodhisattva are mind penetrations. If the mind is obstructed, all the dharmas will not have a penetrating effect. The origin of all powers is in our own mind. The reason why our minds are in an impetuous and impure state is we are proud, conceited, arrogant, and contemptuous. In this case, we are not able to receive the aid of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, especially the assistance from the great compassion of the Earth-Store Bodhisattva. On the contrary, a humble and sincere mind will certainly connect us with the aid from the powerful spiritual penetrations of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and the great compassion of Earth-Store Bodhisattva. By chanting the sutra, we are scared of darkness, yearn for illumination, and get connected with the merit and virtue of the Earth-Store Bodhisattva. In addition to chanting the sutra, we also need to do good deeds and transform our mind from evil to virtuous, so we will benefit a great deal. Furthermore, because our mind turns virtuous, our vicious entanglements and interactions with karmic creditors, relatives, and the successive generation of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life, which exists in our relationship with sentient beings, during transmigration among the 6 realms will cease. Lacking reacting force for the vicious interactions, the evil of our karmic creditors, relatives, and the successive generations of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life will be lessened instantly. On that basis, if our karmic creditors, relatives, and the successive generations of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life generate even a single kind thought, under the influence of the illumination of kindness of us who chant the Sutra, the illumination of their own mind will grow continuously, and their evils, as many as the sands of Ganges, will be ultimately extinguished. It is stated in the Sutra of Visualization of the Buddha of Infinite Life as expounded by Shakyamuni Buddha, for those who desire to be born in that land must perform 3 meritorious acts. First, they should attend dutifully to their parents, honor the work of teachers and elders, with a compassionate mind refrain from killing, and cultivate the 10 virtuous acts. Second, they should receive and uphold the 3 refuges, keep the various precepts, and refrain from breaking the rules of conduct. Third, they should awaken the mind that aspires for enlightenment, believe deeply in the principle of cause and effect, read and recite the Mahayana teachings, and encourage those who practice the way. These 3 acts are called the undefiled acts. The Buddha further said to Vaidehi, "You should know that these 3 kinds of virtuous deeds are none other than the true cause for the enlightenment of all Buddhas of the past, present, and future." Practicing according to the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth-stored Bodhisattva is the actual cultivation of the 3 blessings of the Pure Land. Jizanchi recommends chanting the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth-stored Bodhisattva so that with the assistance of Buddhas, our karmic creditors, relatives, and successive generations of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life will be rescued. Our karmic obstructions will be gradually resolved. Therefore, our mental and physical status, as well as our family and career, will be improved accordingly. How to dedicate the merit derived from chanting the Sutra. Chanting the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth-stored Bodhisattva makes inconceivable merit, and it is very important to dedicate such merit properly. Verses about dedicating merit to all the sentient beings of 10 directions, which can be quite often seen in sutra books, are well-intentioned. However, we living beings in the Dharma-ending age have heavy karmic obstacles and attract various opposing or hostile conditions, as well as negative environments. Therefore, if upon all these we add others' karmic obstacles, it would be like those who cannot swim jump into water to save others, and as a result, neither would be saved and released. It's stated in the great treatise on the perfection of wisdom, if one cannot save himself, how could he save others? It is like when being on a ship. The ship breaks down in the middle of the stream, and a person on board tries to save others but drowns himself. It is also like when a little hot water is put into a big ice pond, making a small part of the ice melted as it may. The hot water itself is turned into ice. Likewise, if a bodhisattva stays away from the Buddhas before such bodhisattva enters the Dharma state, even though he wants to enlighten sentient beings, with insufficient merit and virtue and lacking expedient means, he may bring a little benefit to sentient beings. However, such bodhisattva falls down himself. Therefore, in the preliminary stage of Buddhist practice, the first step is to focus on eliminating one's own karmic obstructions. It is not recommended to dedicate merit to others before one's own problems are resolved. Our karmic creditors, relatives, and the successive generations of ancestors and kinfolks in life after life have the closest karmic connections with us. Thus, they are most likely to obstruct us and entangle with us. So we have to rescue them first. With respect to our families and friends, We can introduce the methods to them only when it is appropriate to do so, to let them understand the theory and chant the sutra for themselves, to resolve their own karma obstacles. The best method for saving others is to guide them to cultivate themselves, which is a truly wise help. After we have been practicing steadily for some time and have benefited from cultivation, our body and mind have been purified, our health, career, and family have been sufficiently improved. We can consider adjusting dedication to all living beings for them to be reborn in the pure land of ultimate bliss together. But please be reminded that such adjustments should be made at one's own direction, basing on his or her specific state, rather than decided by how many times one has recited the sutra, or how long one has been engaged in cultivation. The best method of saving others is to guide them to cultivate themselves, which is the truly wise help.